Most High God, the Most High God comes first. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to each and every one of you guys making this possible. You guys keep on making things possible. You don't even know how. But first of all, shout out to the person who took this picture. Today, we're going to be pretty much posting on Twitter, mostly on Twitter and on Facebook, not on Instagram, not on Vero yet, but don't worry, we'll get there. But we're gonna post up on social media, make the Batfleck movie. So it's Restore the Snyderverse, but make the Batfleck movie. All right. Now, if you look at the title of this stream, it is Restore the Snyderverse, make the Batfleck movie, Free Palestine, there is no Messiah. Now, I'm gonna explain what I mean by there is no Messiah, lest y'all guys think I'm being sacrilegious. Um, so we'll get into it, but first, let's look at some of these great Batman art for Make the Batfleck movie. One guy, he was asking me if Batfleck's belt, his utility belt, if it's golden. It's faded golden here on this figure. Again, according to the color grading, it will look different kinds of ways, and I love how Zack Snyder color grades his stuff. So here is again, this is by the way, this is a picture taken by a fan of a Batman figure. This is a Hot Toys figure, by the way, of Batfleck. Looks very lifelike, looks very much like him. I love how they sort of faded out the background, or shall I say unfocused the background to make this look so real. So it's really fantastic stuff. Good for cinematography, or shall I say photography, by the fan. And again, this is all led by fans, okay? Here's another fan taking another picture of Batfleck with the Batarang in his hand. There's nothing special about this, but I just like the lighting on the torso of the figure. And here is another fan here. We got background stuff and all of that, and they have the figure in a pose. This is the new, actually, Batfleck, BVS Batfleck. There was an older version, but this is the newer version. And you see a lot of likeness of Ben Affleck here. Okay. Here is the new Batman 2.0, it's called, 1/6 scale. This is, I believe this is the Hot Toys deluxe version exclusive. You can see how much this looks like Ben here. Ben has aged a little bit and got a little thinner. This is Ben here again with the cowl. Definitely looks a likeness of him. I love this. Look. They have more facial expression. So there he is, clenching his teeth there. Then you have him with his mouth closed, his mouth open. You have Ben there, and you have interchangeable heads of Ben. Hair sculpts. Hair sculpts, interchangeable hair sculpts. This is so cool. Oh man. You see the grenade launcher for the kryptonite grenades, lead grenades, and kryptonite grenades. He has batarangs. There are the grenades, and you have the different hand sculpts. It's really fantastic. You have a wired cape. See how you can keep it flapping there. It's really great. It's really great. And then you got a background also. You get a background with it. So that's kind of cool. So that's what we saw on display here. They have it in a sort of pose here. This is the new Batfleck, BVS Batfleck. And yes, these toys are selling like water. They're selling. You know why they're selling though? They're selling because I have to get rid of this. They're selling because, look at this. This looks just like Ben Affleck. That's crazy how they can do that now. 3D printing and so on. It looks like him, and they shaded him pretty well too. So what we have here is we have an older version of Batfleck that came out. That's this one up on top of here. And we have actual Batfleck. This is actual Ben. Isn't that kind of crazy? This is not a toy. This is the actual Ben Affleck in the suit. And this is the toy. Technology has just gotten so crazy now. This is the modified version. This is the 2.0 version of Ben. Okay. This is actual Ben Affleck again. BBS Ben Affleck posing here. All right. And then down below here, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, this is the shot I gave you. This is the original Ben Affleck Batman, which is enhanced. That is Zao. Okay. Somebody did a customization of it to make it more real. And here's actual Ben Affleck. Really great stuff. Great stuff. Actually, to me, this one down here looks more like this one up here. To me. It's so awesome. So a fan did this again. See, this is why fans are so important. Fans drive the excitement. People get excited about things who are not fans of it, just casually watching, because fans drum up excitement. That's what's important about fans. The only reason Restore the Snyderverse is in Zeitgeist is because of you. Do you understand how powerful you are collectively? This is the thing you need to understand. And I don't know how much, it's not just the individual. It's not about pointing to an individual. It's about a collective. It's about an organism. It's about a movement. It's about a body. When we talk about the body of Christ, it's not one individual. It's a lot of people, and there's strength in that. Last night, I stayed talking to some brothers all the way past midnight because, we were talking about spiritual things. And yes, I know I'm not, man, y'all don't even know that I'm not the most righteous guy in the world, but yet I trust in God. I ask him to forgive me my sins. But nonetheless, the point is, at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about us. It's about we. It's about the collective. I, as an individual, will do certain things that I, as an individual, will do. And in that way, this is why communism, in its essence, this is what makes it powerful. When people don't abuse it. This is what socialism is about. But socialism is more about tending to the needs of people, socializing. That's what socialism is about. Democracy. What makes democracy great is the entirety of the thing, not the individual parts, but yet individualism is also important. Each individual should be free to express themselves how they so see fit. But because you're a part of a movement, not a cult, because you're a part of, and you could be a part of a cult too, there's cult followings or whatever, but where everybody kind of thinks the same on a certain issue, but not on all issues. But the thing about it is, why we even came together as fans is because we had a common passion for something we loved. And what these oligarchs and all of these people who try to pay, they try to swing their money around to get things done, assassinate people, etc., all this evil they do to this world. What they fail to understand is there's a difference between friendship and leverage. There's a difference between a passion and a love for something and being paid to do something. There's a difference between a job and something you love, almost a hobby. And that's what they don't grasp. And that's why Free Palestine is so powerful. That is why Restore the Snyderverse is so powerful. And it doesn't matter if people disagree with you or not. It's about your passion. If your passion is for humanity, if your passion is to see human beings not taking advantage, especially the poorest among us. And I'm not saying you favor the poorest among us over the richest among us, or the poorest among us, or the average Joe. So the average Joe is, the poorest getting all the benefits and everything, and the average person is suffering. No, I'm not saying that. It's about equity as well. It's about equity as well. Anyway, let's keep this moving. So here we have action figures, which are not as high quality as the Hot Toys. And we have, again, two Batman action figures here. Rubbed Toys, he is able to, this is a fan, and he's actually modifying the Batfleck toys to make them more like Batfleck. And it's called Rub D Toys. Check it out. All right. Fan. Another fan. Dustin Lee Massey. Okay, I posted a lot of his art Here he is doing some beautiful art here. This is Batman taking down the head of the mutants. All right. I have no way of flipping this so you guys can see the head of the mutants. This sharp teeth and stuff. Well, this is straight out of The Dark Knight Returns. And of course, Ben would play a great Dark Knight Returns Batman. We saw him in BVS. There was somebody on Twitter talking about how Snyder fans are pushing for Ben Affleck to come back as a young Batman. And I'm like, what? No Snyder fan has ever said that, ever. Okay. Ben played an older, much more broken down Batman. And then we saw him again in Zack Snyder's Justice League, was much more hopeful, older Batman. He's never played a younger Batman. That's not what Ben. Zack said, Ben, you need to play Batman. Ben said, no, I can't play a younger Batman. I obviously can't do that. He can play an older Batman. That's what Ben does. Okay. He's all in the Flash, and every single version of Batman you've seen, even the stupid Joss Whedon movie, he's playing an older Batman. Okay. So please stop it, detractors. This is the art itself. And I'll show you more of Dustin Massey's works because he's really done some fantastic things. Here he makes a comic out of it. And again, you guys as fans, you can do whatever you want. You can make comics, you could do animated features, which is what this guy does. He did an animated feature on Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, possibility of what would happen. You see, once you keep the narrative going, once you're being creative and you're making things. You know what keeps Batman in people's eyes? All those animated cartoons, all the films, all the movies. They keep Batman going. They always have something on Batman. Well, it's the same thing with any other passionate comic or director's version you want. You have to keep it alive, and to keep it alive, like I said before, you have to always tell the history of it. You also have to remind people it's there. You have to keep it in the zeitgeist, and to keep it in the zeitgeist means keeping it in conversation all the time. This is what we're talking about. And this guy, again, emphatically, look at this. And again, it's on my Twitter. I don't have it on Facebook. I don't have it anywhere else. Okay, you can check out his artwork. This is him again. Of course, I think his art's also borrowing from he's doing effects on things, but it's still spectacular. It's still fantastic. And you see him here, lmasseyart.space. So you can check out his website, lmasseyart.space. And he puts it out like if it's an actual movie that's going to come out. And it's called Batman. Just like how Batman 1989 is Batman. He's called it Batman. So we don't go with the Batman anymore because they obviously did a movie on that. So Batman, I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. He just kind of put Ben into the Dark Knight Returns mode, and he really looks like a freaking Dark Knight Returns Batman, doesn't he? Oh my goodness. Here he is again, Batman. This is the story behind, of course, Robin's death. So he's, you kind of incorporated in the Batman movie there. You know what I think would be cool? Still having that Joe Manganiello, Ben Affleck Batman movie, but delving into the Robin, delving into Deathstroke's past with his dead son and all of that stuff. Because again, what people like James Gunn and all of the other directors before kind of miss, even Andy Muschietti and all that. When you try to make a bright movie, a shiny movie, you can't really go flashbacks and give proper history. And give the modus operandi for the character. In a way, you're kind of doing a case study on the character. And that's something that guys like Todd Phillips, Zack Snyder, Christopher Nolan, they rope you in because they give you the background, they give you the history. Gavin O'Connor with the accountant, the flashback scenes. And we're not saying you have to do flashbacks. What we're saying is it creates a context for why the motivation behind why the character does what he does, why he behaves the way he behaves. You get the motivation from this history. That's what makes you relate to the character. That's what makes you empathize with the character or even sympathize with the character. And then you see yourself in that character because you share some commonalities, and then some of the things are more educational and insightful to you. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, so we don't have to say nothing about this. Like these two pictures kind of like tell us what we want, why we want to see Ben Affleck's movie come back, right? And again, the gentleman who is doing this, and he has the beautiful little "Make the Batfleck movie" a hashtag below there, and he's got all the presentations of Warner Brothers and everything. Mr. Massey, man, shout out to Mr. Massey in the building. And here we are again, "Make the Batfleck movie." His name should be somewhere in there. I don't see his name this time. I got these, by the way, from his Instagram. Look at that. Deathstroke. And in the background is probably, is that's the what you call the thing that shoots the bat symbol into the air. I forgot what you call it. When you shine that light into the sky, don't go to it. I forgot. But it looks like he beat up Batman. And again, what's so cool? And this is what makes a villain, right? For Batman, taking his cowl, possessing his cowl is victory. And for Superman, possessing his cape is victory. You get it? The symbology. That's the thing about, I gotta say it. Some of y'all gonna be mad at me, but I don't care. That's what the thing about Zack Snyder, okay? Zack Snyder captures the iconic moment, what he calls keyframes, the iconic moment that tells the story of, this is how comic book, this could easily be, shout out to Massey, by the way, Dustin Massey. This could easily be the cover of a comic book. You know what I mean? And that's what Zack does. He literally brings the comic book onto the screen. And people say, well, no, he doesn't know nothing about comics because it's too violent and they curse and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, but yeah, obviously haven't picked up a comic book in like ages. Have you even picked up a comic book? You know what I mean? And then, when you look at the animated series and, animated movies, Zack captures that again. And, just look at, here's a perfect example. The Dark Knight Returns. Go watch that animated film. Okay. Then go read The Dark Knight Returns. Then go watch BVS. Just do it. Read the comic. Watch the animated adaptation. Watch BVS. You'll swear to God, that is The Dark Knight Returns Batman on the screen. And the feeling in the world is sort of like it's like Frank Miller's kind of world. You get what I'm saying? Man of Steel. Go and watch or read Man of Steel comic. You can also read John Byrne's Man of Steel, okay? You can also go and read Superman Birthright. Then go watch Superman the Animated Series. If you want to, you can go and watch also Justice League Unlimited, okay? Then go watch Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. And tell me if it doesn't feel the same. Tell me that you didn't feel that. Tell me you didn't feel the same vibe, the same action scenes, the same fighting, the same tone and tenor of the characters. Yes, the animated series is a little shorter. It's probably, in terms of its aesthetic for Superman, maybe it looks a little brighter, right? Has a little bit more color in it because it's not color graded to one color particularly, or this color or a dominant color, right? So you feel more, with Zack stuff, it's more realism based. You feel more grounded in realism. As a result, you assess it like if it's something that actually happened, which is why at the end of Man of Steel, with all the destruction that was happening in Metropolis, people thought this was like 9/11. People felt like, and people got uncomfortable watching that. But the truth be told, it's the same thing you would see in Superman the Animated Series. Immense destruction happens in those series. Okay, you look at a Justice League Unlimited or Justice League animated series, tremendous amounts of destruction. Literally, you see, we're talking about Gaza type destruction. Okay, that happens in certain cities and stuff. So now Zack took that, but he grounded it so much in reality. He made sure that it was like so real to us that we got affected by it. People felt horrible about it. It was horrific to some of them. And it's supposed to feel that way because that's what, if you don't feel horrific about what's happening in Gaza right now, the level of destruction, the level of people who are being, innocent people who are dying by the thousands, then you're not a human being. You've detached yourself from humanity. So yes, Zach knew that at the end of Man of Steel, even the Smallville stuff was harrowing. It was because it's a difference between animation and live action. Live action, once you're not doing it, so the difference between Man of Steel BVS and Zack Snyder's Justice League, and in my opinion, Iron Man, Captain America: The First Avenger, Avengers, Captain America: Civil War, Avengers, Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame is, and even though Infinity War and Endgame were much more serious films, I never felt the Winter Soldier felt real. But all those other movies I just mentioned, including Civil War, never felt real to me because these characters would just start cracking fucking jokes in the middle of a fucking serious scene. Somebody's dying and you're cracking a joke. And I just thought, I can't relate. And the way how they do these films feels like Hollywood. It feels fucking fake. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the F-bombs, but I don't like Marvel for that reason. I'm a big ass grown man. I'm not a fucking 4-year-old. You know what I mean? And you're making movies, you're trying to be adult, you're pretentious with those movies. That's the right word, pretentious. You're pretending like you're not getting the realism out of these characters. They're crazy stunts. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying the action sequences aren't fun to watch, but it's more of a fun flick than it is something that you're at the edge of your seat and you're wondering what the hell's going to happen next. And you're worried and you're frustrated and you're clenching the seat because it feels so real. Even Black Panther, which is supposed to be more grounded than others, didn't feel as real to me. It felt still fake. Even though I really, out of all of the Marvel movies, I think the historical Captain America: The First Avenger, I think the Iron Man movie, the first Iron Man movie, I think that Black Panther, the first Black Panther movie, I think that what else we have? I think that's about it. I think those three movies, of course, The Winter Soldier is definitely much better movie than almost all those other movies I just mentioned in terms of actually sticking to the storyline, not trying to stick in these awkward jokes and jokes everywhere. And goddamn, I hate it. I really do. I hate it. Because that's Hollywood. That's not reality. Nobody cracks a joke in the middle of an intense moment where somebody's dying or they don't do that. And even if they do it, there's an emotional weight on it. What I mean by that is, take for instance, if you guys ever saw Mamumba, the guy who was murdered and the CIA, was trying to lead Africa and the CIA, as he's about to die with his friend, he says something very ironic and he laughs. But the laugh is not there's some weight behind the laugh, meaning there's a significance behind the laugh. It's ironic what's happening. I'm laughing about it. But it's not something that necessarily you'd laugh about. Like the character's finding it funny. He's finding humor in the situation. But it doesn't, the solemnity of the situation is so solemn, you don't laugh. You more sigh. You might be like, ah. And you feel the irony, but yet you feel for the fact that he's going to die because you're so connected to the character. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, you can throw dry humor in there. You can throw incredible humor in there about, a situation where, situational humor is very funny in that, the characters don't realize, or they do. They grasp a moment, but it's still funny at the same time. You know, it's a serious thing going on, but yet we're able to move out of ourselves and see the funniness of it. Like if a third person was watching this and wasn't going through that situation, they would laugh at it because it's hilarious what's happening. But for the people going through the situation, it's not funny at all. So there's something called situational humor. And again, all of these things to me are very consistent. These are things where you're in a story, something funny happens, you laugh, but yet at the same time, the weight of the story is still there. The stakes of the story is still there. So you may the humor lifts a bit of the weight, but it's not going to remove the weight. Versus slapstick humor, these stupid lines that people say, sound like a fucking smart aleck in the middle of something that does not command that. And I'm like, what the hell? That gets me completely out of a movie. And also it gets me really mad because I don't like those things. Okay. All right. Anyways, so I'd love to see this. And I'm sure a lot of you would love to see this. I think also because it's entered into the zeitgeist, even the general audience would love to see this. And again, this picture just sets so much tone to what, you're looking forward to. Oh my goodness. End the nightmare, restore the Snyderverse. I mean, come on now, y'all. Come on now. Who doesn't want to see this? Who doesn't want to see this? Baby, this been previewed in 2 movies. In BVS, they previewed it. And then in Zack Snyder's Justice League, we got more of it. Who don't want to see this? Y'all got to be out of your mind if you say you don't want to see this. And you know what's so cool about this? Look at it. Shout out to this guy, man. Hold on a second. Give me a second here. Listen, shout out to Dustin Massey. Check this out, y'all. Hey, y'all, I'm gonna even play the music. Oh man, y'all gonna love this. Check this out. This is Dustin Massey. It's the same guy that did the art that you just saw there. Check this out. In Trinidad, you love that? Ah, man. Yeah, he actually did an animated short on, a possibility of how, Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 could go. At least, remember, we only know a piece of, we really don't know much about Zack Snyder's Justice League 2. Trust me, Zack's keeping a lot to his chest. Chris Terrio started to speak about, the New Gods aspect of it. There's a lot of things going on with Zack Snyder's Justice League 2. The Justice League ends up on Apocalypse. For those of you who don't know, this is kind of crazy shit that we're missing, man. We're missing stuff. That's what kind of gets me. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk too long, guys. I'm already almost half an hour in. Oh man. And this is what he's got. This is the Joker here and Mira. Superman, evil Superman, Crater, Joker. Oh man. All right, anyways, let me go back. I love this because the gun is pointed downwards and Batman's in a sort of surrender pose. And if you look behind Batman, you'll see charred corpses in the background. So Superman looks like he's winning. You see the parademons, you see the sparks all over him. And I love the color grading on this. The color grading on this is crazy cool. They keep it with this kind of orange, golden color grading. You see the fires in the background burning. I don't know if you guys can see that. Look, what the hell? There's the fires in the background there. Cities burning up. You know what I'm saying? Charred corpses. And the charred corpses remind me again of Free Palestine, that, they're bombing all these people, blowing up people. We've seen people on fire. We've seen people burnt to a crisp. We've seen vehicles burnt to a crisp and stuff like that. So it also reminds me not just of 9/11, but it also reminds me of what's happening in Palestine. And I think what's happening in Palestine, what happened in Iraq, I think it's an extension of 9/11. Terror, terror, and it's the same people behind it. Israel, the Mossad, they've been behind these acts of terror. Their whole nation was formed on acts of terror. And they keep on blowing up things. And I'm not saying that Israel is alone in this. I think that the leadership of America and American policy has been this. Okay? Anyways, I digress. Massey again doing Zack Snyder's Justice League, but this time featuring Batman. And this is Batman from Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the ending. He borrowed that and he put it on JL there. That's really dope. And then finally, make the Batman movie. A Batman comic where Batman there is amongst all his bats in the middle of the night. Look at the orange background. DC comic book headline. What do you guys think? Is this guy dope or what? Shout out to Dustin Massey. Shout out to him. So today I'm going to share as much art as I can. Dustin Massey, he has his Twitter handle, by the way, for those of you who want to go and check out his stuff, is Dustin Massey 101 at Dustin Massey 101. All right, you guys can go check him out. All right, let me go to Palestine, but I'm going to interchange between Palestine and Restore the Snyderverse. I'm going to go in between them now. Okay, here we go. So Sammy Obeid said, I'm writing a movie about a young man who decides to be a journalist so he can document a genocide happening around him and show the world, only to be killed in an airstrike by the genocidal entity. First of all, he wasn't killed in an airstrike. He was killed. He was sniped to death and his car. Okay. Then here's the twist. In the afterlife, he picks up a local newspaper called the Times of Genocider and reads that apparently the whole time he had been a terrorist on the side and didn't even know it. Yeah, terrorist sniper. Of course, they're talking about Hassam Shabbat, who I told you he's got Jewish lineage. You don't have a name Shabbat and not have some Jewish lineage. I don't know. Is this plot believable enough? Seems a bit far-fetched. I love how Sammy is being very sarcastic with this. And there's another one. We got another one for you. We got a gem. We got a gem for you. Let me go to Sammy Obeid's Twitter. He's a math comic former teacher. There's his different tours. They've tried to blacklist him and all of that, but because he's Palestinian, it doesn't really matter. Check this out. This is him again talking. Okay, I know this sounds silly, but as a Palestinian, I've always thought it would be really cool to win an Oscar so that my movie could be banned in theaters and refused by distributors. And if things go well enough, I could eventually get abducted and brutally assaulted by the same villains in my movie. You know that one of the co-producers of the movie and co-directors of the movie, he's right now been abducted, seized by the IDF, and he's somewhere in a prison somewhere. All right? He's been beaten by the settlers, and now he's in the prison somewhere. And he lived in the West Bank. So this is the kind of atrocities that are happening in real time. They're bombing the crap out of Gaza right now, and they're not going to destroy Hamas. That's never going to happen. They can't get rid of what's the name? They can't get rid of Nasrallah. They can't get rid of Hezbollah. They ain't getting rid of Hamas, right? So what they're basically doing is wreaking havoc and terror on the civilians in Palestine. They're forced displacement is happening. That's a criminal offense. And they're also terrorizing them and bombing buildings. And I know some of the people I know, of course, we know that that beautiful reporter, Hassam Shabbat, he's gone now. They killed him. They successfully targeted him and killed him, along with some other journalists there. So these wicked people have been doing what they're doing. Now, let me just tell you a plan to action, and let me just explain what I mean by there is no Messiah. If you guys are looking for some president or some leader of our nation, except for South Africa, except for Brazil, except for one of those European nations that took a stand, except for Ireland, to stand up and categorically denounce this and then remove all diplomatic ties, remove all acts of commerce with Israel. If you're waiting for somebody to take a stand and help you and save Palestine and save Israel, like a Donald Trump or something, you are absolutely incontrovertibly wrong. You're waiting on a savior that's never going to come. So, can we talk about courses of action, please? And can we start enacting it as a collective? Again, the power in a collective is amazing. You see what the Restore the Snyderverse campaign has done. You see what the Restore the Snyderverse movement has done. It's brought Warner Brothers to their knees. They're right now to their knees because we have that kind of power. Because we're not just any movement. We're an international movement. We need an international movement now. We need an international movement to pressure our governments or to overthrow our governments on the issue of Palestine. In the United States of America, the Biden administration was overthrown because of the Palestine issue. I want to show you what's happening, and it will continue to happen because people have a sense of humanity. Like I said, I'm going to be oscillating between one thing and another. I need to find this. Okay. Ian Carroll says the Daily Wire collapse is just getting started. And Nick is right about this in a big way. And let me see if I can find what Nick said. All right, this is Nick Fuentes, one of the front line fighters for true democracy. If this guy became president, I would not be mad. Nick, Jill Stein, Claudia de la Cruz, the libertarian guy. I forgot what his name is. I need to remember his name. What's his name? Dr. Whatever his name is. Bush Weir, until I remember his name. Okay? These people are on our side. They are for the people. Stu Peters. These are real dudes. David Icke. Okay? These are good people. Okay? All right, let me talk about them. Of course, Richard Wolff. There's a whole bunch of them. There's a whole bunch of them that's risen up, and they can't target all of us. But they really went at Nick. Okay? And again, these are people who are right-wing people. They are Make America Great Again people. Now, Nick happens to be a Christian as well as Stu, even though Stu curses. And they know the Bible properly, and they know what is happening is demonic. Okay, now I want you guys to understand what's going on. And this is the power of people. And I never expected it to happen on the right. The left is not doing what they're supposed to do, particularly their leadership, and particularly their people. They're still playing partisan politics. The right is beginning to understand that this is not about partisanship anymore. There is no fucking savior. Donald Trump is not their savior. He's the same motherfucker, like all the others. And they're waking up. Okay, here we go. And I love this because they're the people who always talk about the right to bear arms and so on. I got so much stuff to tell you about these guys. But let's just talk about Nick Fuentes for a minute. And again, if they try to assassinate and remove Nick Fuentes, somebody else will rise up in his place. Y'all don't get it. We are, when I say we, I'm talking about a spirit. When I say we gonna get you, I mean a spirit. I'm not talking about individuals. I know what I'm seeing. Okay, so let's keep it going.
But it is also extremely powerful. It is make or break for them. And I said it last week, I'm going to say it again. This is the fork in the road. They're at a crossroads here. This is an inflection point in the history of that company. And because of the market share and the cachet that Daily Wire commands, This is also an inflection point, potentially, for the entire conservative movement. If Daily Wire sinks, and the perception, even if it's not 100% the reality, but the perception is that what precipitated this is the ideological split with Candace Owens over Gaza. This sends a shockwave across the entire conservative world. That's like, I sunk your battleship. That is like the super carrier is at the bottom of the ocean, the unsinkable Titanic. It's like, this is a new conservative movement. If Daily Wire with Shapiro, this is a serious property. If this goes down because of a fight with Candace over Gaza, if this goes down because of a death spiral that was precipitated by this huge dispute over Israel's conduct, over this very controversial war, this has a ripple effect with everything. And what's the message? The message is that not just in the left, which is what they're trying to portray. They're trying to say that the left has this anti-Semitism, anti-Israel problem. If Daily Wire goes down, it says it's not just the left with its young people or a so-called radical progressive element on their side that's unique to them. It's not just those guys that are critical of Israel or skeptical of Jewish power. It says there's a real radical element on the right with young people, with an ideological segment with Christians that is not just vocal and not just passionate and uncontrollable, but is also extremely powerful. If Daily Wire goes down, that's
because it's a movement, ladies and gentlemen. And Gaza sunk the Biden administration, and Gaza will sink the Trump administration because people are realizing there is no Messiah. No, the power is in our hands. We determine the future. Yes, Daily Wire stock is plummeting. And I got something else for y'all ass. You think? And it's not Muslims. It's more than Muslims. It's people seeing what's happening and waking the fuck up. This ain't over by a long. I told you, we're coming for you. You think I'm playing? You think I'm playing? The people are waking up and taking back their power. We are becoming brothers and sisters and not dividing ourselves over ideological ideas like red and white states, how a government should be run, and all this bullshit that y'all got us to argue over. Should there be social welfare? Should there not be social welfare? And all this bullshit. Oh, we got more. We got more. I hope I tagged it somewhere. Okay, let me start with my brother, Koj. Shout out to Koj. You guys go check out his YouTube channel. That's my brother from another mother. IDF murders or abducts, tortures, and molests children in captivity, along with targeting civilians. Gal Gadot supported the IDF while ignoring the Palestinian suffering caused by the Israeli government, is why we don't like her. She's a pretty Wonder Woman, but she's not a true hero. And I'm going to show you a consequence of that. But first, I want you to see visual evidence. Now, mind you, they're arresting Palestinian children, but they don't arrest the settlers who are committing war crimes of all kinds, burning people's houses, shooting people. Now, what was the consequence of Gal Gadot supporting the IDF? I'll show you. See, this thing affects everything, everything, every facet, including your entertainment. I'm going to show you something. Please tell me I bookmarked that. Fuck. I didn't bookmark it. I don't think I did. Please tell me I did. Fuck. All right. So I'll just have to talk about it. I wanted to show you visual evidence, but apparently that's not going to happen. Okay. So as you all know, ladies and gentlemen, Snow White bombed at the box office. And there was a post in here saying why it happened. And Rachel Ziegler, she came out and she said, and oh, by the way, free Palestine. To which, of course, Hollywood went into upheaval, at least the gatekeepers who are Zionists and who are Israeli Americans. And they tried to shut her up and make her change what she said. And she did not change a damn thing. And you know why she said that? I'll tell you why she said that. Because Gal Gadot, who has been supporting the IDF, who refused to go up and give the Oscar to the Palestinian and Israeli directors who did Another Land, right? And she's also, even though she's called for the hostages, she's only been speaking about the hostages and how brutally they were treated, and she's been lying about how brutal they're being treated and stuff. She went to the ADL and she doubled down on Israel being a victim, when Israel right now is not a victim in any way, shape, or form. They are actually committing atrocities with the assistance of the American forces, with the assistance of the Americans and the British and the Germans. You know, so I don't want to hear shit from Gal Gadot. And like my boy, Lord Kojay said so correctly, she needs to address the Palestinian issue. Like I said before, she's doubled down. So you know what? You know what happened? Nobody went to see her Snow White movie because of Gal. It wasn't because of Rachel Ziegler. Even though people didn't like Rachel Ziegler because she was behaving like an ass before with all the identity politics and all the nonsense she was doing. It was because of Gal. That's why Rachel Ziegler came out and said free Palestine, knowing that even if her career is trashed in Hollywood, it don't matter. She had nothing to lose saying that now. But I can't find it. I thought I bookmarked it. This is bigger than you think. This is not just about right wing or left wing. And Disney, all of these companies, Disney, Warner Brothers, the head of Comcast, Netflix, you know, the heads of them are all Jewish Israeli Americans, Zionists. That's why there's so much pressure on people. And I'm telling you once again, Zack Snyder's stuff. Zack Snyder's stuff, man. It's all interconnected. It's all interconnected. So when you're seeing the far right now breaking down, because, oh, there's another thing. I don't know if I have it. I don't think I have it. Otherwise, I would share it with you guys. There's another thing. Oh, man. Oh, man. This thing is so, oh, man. There's so much to share. Oh, man. I got so much to say. See, because we have to be effective. We have to be effective. Your pressure is good, but you need to boycott. Like I said before, I will repeat, all peoples of the world, boycott all American products, boycott all Israeli products, boycott all companies that are assisting or aiding in any way the Israeli military, the IDF. Period. Buy local. Stop buying from your moms and pops. Don't buy things that are not local. Buy from your people. Invest in your own. Love your brothers and sisters. Invest in them. Don't invest in your enemy. I don't care how attractive Coca-Cola is. I don't care how addicted you are to Coca-Cola. Fuck Coca-Cola. Fuck Coca-Cola. Fuck Pepsi. Fuck your local Walmart. Go get something from Mums and Pops. Fuck all those conglomerates. All they do is take your money. They don't give you back nothing. Give to your brothers and sisters in your community so that they can give back to you. And fuck them. Fuck all of them. Fuck all of them. Demonic, devil-assisted motherfuckers. That's how you do it. And if you can locally with your state or your borough or your county or whatever your little municipality you live in, give back to that. Give back to the homeless. Give back to the people who don't have places. Try to find shelter for people. Try to help out people who are hurting in your community. And then speak, you as a collective, always as a collective, go to the legislature of your community. Have them pass laws. I've seen, again, Republicans. They understand the history of the thing. I've seen certain states, they're cutting income tax. People don't have to pay income tax. That is huge. The Federal Reserve, income tax. What's the other thing? Empower yourselves. Take back your power. And force your governments to make a statement. Right now in Turkey, man, they are putting the heat on Erdogan. They want that pipeline shut the fuck down to Israel. There's other things going on. They want him removed from power. And he's arresting a whole set of people. But you can't arrest all of them. You can't. The numbers are too huge. And they're going to come and they're going to surge at you even harder. And the more you try to militarize your police and shoot them and stuff, is the more the horde is going to get more and more. And they'll turn into a mob and they'll overrun you. It's a numbers game. It's a fucking numbers game. And when they have nothing to lose, when people have nothing to lose, they'll go all out. Look, Twitter just blocked me. It just locked me. Look at that. They're attacking me again. You're attacking a small piece of dust, you dumb fuck. You're attacking a small piece of dust. You cannot stop us. You never will. We will see victory, but unfortunately, that victory will not last very long. But we will see the victory. Did you see that, by the way, ladies and gentlemen? Did you see this thing just automatically did that? You know why? You know why? They can hear me. But guess what? Now it says you have a limited access to X features until you verify it. So they're attacking me. See, they just attacked me. You've seen it in real time. You're seeing it on my screen. They just attacked me. And guess what? I don't fucking care. You can't stop me. You can't stop me. Because it's not about me. I'm just a piece of dust. You targeting a piece of dust does not stop me. You cannot stop me. And when I say me, I am not talking about Anson Phillip. I'm a nobody. I am a nobody. I am speaking about the collective. You cannot stop us. And you're panicking. We will come for you. We will find you. We will bring you to justice. And we will punish you. I've said all I had to say anyway on this stream, so you don't have to worry.
shout out to everybody who watched this stream. I am Christ, I am disciple. I'm sorry for the cursing and swearing, but you guys can beat these people. You don't need Facebook. There are other social media platforms you can go to. You don't need YouTube. You don't need them. They need you. A mass exodus, for example, from Twitter, if it's too restrictive, if they're shadow banning too much, people just go to another place. I remember when they decided they're going to ban TikTok, a whole exodus of billions of people left TikTok and went to China's Chinese app. So they went from something that was okay, kind of based in China, to deep China. And the shift is towards China. And I'll show you some of that on Facebook another time, because people are realizing the lies and propaganda. And they're seeing for themselves that this was all a lie, especially the right-wing people, because they were searching for an answer. People are searching for an answer. That's why they went to Trump. He's not the answer. He's not the Messiah that they were looking for. The answer lies within you. The kingdom of God is within you, said Jesus to his disciples and people. The answer is within you. You, the people, you already had the answer. Each person being a brother to each other and loving each other and loving mankind, we move on in peace very easily. But these evil, wicked, devil-worshiping people, they don't want to see that happen. Their God is an alien or aliens, demons, what we call demons, because they don't wish us well. And they have sold their souls and their humanity to acquire the technology and wealth from them. They're the Lex Luthors of the world. I am Christ, I am disciple, also known as What You Need on YouTube. Peace to you all.